Good evening, everybody. Is it coming home? Of course it is. England beat Germany 2-0 this evening, so there are some very, very high spirits in this paddock right now. But anyway, aside from 22 men kicking the football around, welcome to the European Touring Car Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media. I am, of course, Chaz Draycott, and we are here for rounds 7 and 8 of the inaugural season at the beautiful Circuit Zolder in Belgium. A country with the same tricolour as the country that we just beat in the Euros. Black, yellow, red. Anyway, we have some fantastic news for the series to show you, and we're going to get straight into it. The drivers are just out qualifying at the moment, or I say qualifying, they're out in practice at the moment, and you're thinking, but Chaz, who on earth is Woodhouse? I see him at the top of the pile. Who on earth is that? It's Mark Woodhouse, who we can't seem to get a good view of. He's there somewhere. Mark Woodhouse is teaming up with this man, Adam Wright, in the EMKA racing team. We've had a number of drivers drop out, unfortunately, after a couple of rounds this season. We've lost Kenny Mitchell from the Derrington Francis team. We have lost Chris Harbour from the EMKA racing team. Ben Hoffman from DNA Motorsport. And unfortunately Austin Greatorex from Dragonfly Competition, but we have replacements for them. Mark Woodhouse currently fastest out of everybody, so he's going well. Mats Borg Anderson joins Derrington Francis, the Norwegian driver taking on the number 17 machine. Mikey Doebel teams up with John Roberts. Mikey very fast indeed, races in the BMW Compact Cup in real life and of course the Ginetta GT5 Challenge. Really talented racer. And Zach Gould, who joins Dragonfly Competition with his teammate Tim Cox there in the background. These very beautiful cars having a two-car team for the very first time this season. But I know what you're thinking. Chaz, what does the championship look like? And this is exactly how it looks. Maciej Sakovic, top of the pile at the moment, 23 points clear of Stephen King. Donny Alfa Henriksen, after taking his first win of the season, is currently in third place. Ben Bennyworth is fourth, ahead of the very close Ben Kriener and Carl Jacquelet. Jack Johns is seventh. Scott Malcolm currently stands eighth, with Morgan Butler in ninth, and Michael Blake rounds out your top 10. You can really see what a international championship this has become. There are so many different nationalities, a lot of them near the top as well. But Sakovic looking very good up there at the moment. The current fastest driver that we actually have on track is Stephen King. He's got his teammate Jack Johns out there with him. The two of them have been consistently up there this season, and actually in the Teams Championship, Team Mood Springs are top, despite not having a single race win to their name. We have both the Ocean Racing Technology cars back out there again this evening, Michael Elliott and Scott Malcolm. Just a quick word of warning as well, I am still having the internet issues that I was having a few weeks ago. It's been going on for a month now, so unfortunately, still no solution to the problem, but it's being worked on, and as you all know, if it does drop at any point, I will do my very best to get straight back on with it very quickly. Sakovic is now out on track for Blade Speed Esports. The number 8 car has won 3 of the 6 races so far this season. He's been incredibly fast, incredibly consistent, and actually, if you think about it, the official stats, he's actually won half of the races this season so far. 2 in the very first meeting, then 1 last time out at Zandvoort. Donny Alfa Henriksen won the other one. Ben Kriener, who unfortunately isn't with us tonight, is the other driver to have won races. But let's take you on a lap around Zolder, because I feel like Maciej is lining up for a fast practice lap here. We're on the Grand Prix circuit, so we've got the nice slow chicane at the end of the lap to add a little bit of drama in and a few sends, late braking manoeuvres. Here is Maciej making his way into said chicane. Big sausage curbs here as well, which are not friendly to any sort of car, never mind a front wheel drive one. Across the line we go then, on the relatively short straight here at Zolder. It's just over 200 kilometers an hour before you brake on the right hand side. Long left-hander at turn 1. It's hard to read that very first corner, as you can take a very early apex and run out wide, or get overtaken down the inside but take a late apex and get a cutback. Turns 2 and 3 have many lines through them as well. We may see a bit of contact through there. Long right hander now to get onto the back straight. Very tricky indeed, especially in this car. You want to get on the power as soon as possible, but it'll just wash out wide and you'll lose time. Now, the main thing you need to know about Zolder is that they've got two very tricky chicanes with humongous curbs, and there's the first of them. There's going to be some argy-bargy there, and can you look at that? There's 1,000th of a second between Woodhouse and Sakovic, who are teammates at Team Mad outside of this championship. But there's only 27 thousandths separating the top four. There's the Villeneuve chicane that Maciej Sakovic is going through right now. Tucks it into the right-hand side on the power. Another difficult corner to get right coming up here. The camber comes towards you, though. Over the crest, you've got to turn in early because the front-wheel drive machinery will just wash out to the right. Then hard on the brakes into the hairpin. Looks like Maciej's got it stopped nicely. Looked like he was going to go in a little bit hot there, doesn't it? Or didn't it, I should say. Through what's not quite a chicane, down to the final corner, and that is how tight and twisty this circuit is. You'll see people going straight on into the pit entry there as well. And let's hope, I've got my fingers crossed, we do not see drivers going into the back of others onto the pit entry, because it's very easy to do. If you're in a battle with somebody and you think, oh, I'll get the undercut on this guy and I'll overtake him, we have seen many an incident where people don't slow down enough and hit the car in front. John Bailiff back out there tonight again for Vertex Esports. Alex Sedgwick was with us for Brands Hatch and did a wonderful job in his debut. John's had a very tough season so far, despite having incredible pace and always being up there. He's hoping to carry that on tonight, but Stephen King and Jack Johns, hello. Not quite sure what happened to Jack there, but Stephen won't be too pleased with that one either, as the two teammates take one another out. This is Michael Blake. He's quite high up the championship standings currently, as Zach Gold and Scott Malcolm get a little bit friendly just in front there. At the moment in the championship, Michael Blake is in 10th place, 80 points off the top spot, but he's had the fantastic pace to be able to be right up there in the top 5, even on the podium as well at some rounds. Now don't forget, as of Zandvoort last time round, the point system for the championship has been updated. So what we used to have is drivers that qualified first, second and third in the times getting 3, 2 and 1 points respectively, which give them a bit more of an incentive to obviously make up for the fact that they get reversed down to 12th, 11th and 10th and so on. But what we did was we upped that to 5 points. So you get 5 points for pole, 4 for second, 3 for third. You get 2 points for qualifying 4th, and you also get a point for qualifying 5th. And it works out quite nicely actually, because in the races you get 5 points for finishing 12th, which is where you get reversed to. So in some strange twist of fate, we figured that that was the best thing to do. So the drivers have that little bit more incentive now. And in terms of the championship points actually from qualifying, currently Maciej Sakovic unsurprisingly has the most. He has 10 points from qualifying sessions. 9 points then go the way of Morgan Butler. Michael Blake has 7 points. And then just behind him on 6 points is Kieran Dempsey, and then 5 points Stephen King. That's qualifying only. Here's Mark Woodhouse then. Apologies everybody. Yep, you guessed it. It's happened once again. So we're just getting back into the session, and we will be right back on with it. Again. Also, just another update. I did the silly thing and accepted an offer to take unlimited data from Vodafone, so I could use that to stream this, but it seems that in doing so, said data is slower than what I used to have. So it's not good enough to stream with, I'm afraid. It's only 2 megabytes a second upload. So I shall be having words about that as well. Anyway, the sim is now starting and we'll be back in just a moment. Apologies once again. So we have cars on track, and we have a qualifying session underway. Currently no times on the board at the moment. Everybody doing what they can so far. We'll wait for the first times to come in, but as I said before, Mark Woodhouse making himself a little bit of a star in this championship so far. He's always been quick in the Kia. Him and a number of the other guys in this championship have raced the car before, so they know exactly what they're getting into. And to be fair, with the experience they've got, it's worth jumping in a championship like this because it's not really a car that a lot of people drive. So if you have the experience in it, you may as well use it to your advantage and go as quickly as you can. Morgan Butler's been quick in qualifying recently as well for Abruzzi Raceware. He's got John Roberts just behind him on track. You can see that some of the drivers will be taking it nice and easy through that first chicane, just to make sure they don't get any sort of penalty. Interesting how 3 minutes of the session have got. I was just about to say, no one's done a lap yet. Donnie Henriksen puts in the very first time, a 138.163. And Jack Collette does a 138.5. 132.82, I should say, from Michael Blake. Tim Cox goes 5th. Stephen King, a 137.5. 37.6 from Sakovic. Some fast times going in. John Bailiff goes 3rd fastest. Now where is Morgan Butler? Bouncing over the final curb. Across the line he goes. What can he do? He goes 5th, a 138.2, some 7/10 off the fastest time. So Stephen King doing a good job at the moment. Jack Johns is on his out lap. This is his first lap out of the pits by the look of it. Who have we got coming across the line? Mark Woodhouse is about to cross the line actually. Anderson, Matsborg Anderson, one of the other newcomers, goes fastest. Woodhouse 7/10 off, but look at that from Matsborg Anderson. Incredible time by the Norwegian. Seemingly he's done that on his own as well. No traffic around him. We wait for 2 of the other newcomers of the series to get their first laps in. Mikey Doebel here. Really good on oval stuff is Mikey Doebel. Might as well call him Mikey Doebel. The apostrophe oval. But look at this train of cars. Now this can't be easy for anybody because they've always got to think about the traffic around them. Zach Gould comes out of the final corner to do his very first qualifying lap of the series. Dempsey goes up to 6th, and Gould puts a time in that's good enough for 13th at the moment. Here's Mikey Doebel coming to the end of his lap. He's got Morgan Butler right behind him there in the Abruzzi machine. Into the final chicane, they go hard on the brakes. You can see Morgan closing in a little bit there. Only 15 minutes of this session, so They've not got too long to get the job done. King is still second, but Anderson some 3/10 clear at the moment. Doebel's first lap is a 1:39.2, puts him 2 seconds off. Morgan Butler goes within 2/10 of Mats Borg Anderson. It's close. Ben Bennyworth's been quick so far this season, but he unfortunately at the moment not challenging the top spot, down in 12th, but you can see how close it is. Not even a second covering the top 9 at the moment. Only a couple of thousandths, 11 thousandths covering 5th to 7th. But don't forget, 12th place actually gets you pole position for the sprint race. We've got a 15-minute, or roughly 15-minute sprint race, and then a roughly half-hour feature race with a pit stop where they must take 2 tyres. And at the moment, Ben Bennyworth is on for that pole position. But you can't sit around and just hope it comes to you, though, as they're all practicing their pit lane entry. It's important to do around here because it's an interesting pit lane, to say the least. Let's go on board with Ben Bennyworth. You've got this little chicane here. You have to be very careful not to hit any of it. And then you've got that wall sticking out as well. And that's Connery Maddock over the tannoy that you can hear. There's one of the audio recordings of Connery that I've heard when doing screenshots where he sounds quite irate with people in the pit lane about keeping it clear. But it's pretty cool, to be fair, for Connery. And of course my good friend Paul Smith to be some of the guys that you can hear on the tannoys throughout iRacing at British tracks. And it seems Belgian tracks as well. So this is your current pole sitter then. Norwegian Mats Borg Anderson on his first appearance in the series. He was only told last week that he had the spot as well, as a number of them were. Michael Elliott moves up into 15th position with a time of 1:38.99. Kieran Dempsey did his best on that previous lap. Jack Johns is currently on for 1 championship point. Magic Sakovic on for 2. King on for 3. Butler on for 4. And Mats Borg Anderson is going to take 5 if it stays this way. We're into the second half of quali. Adam Wright, the only driver not to have set a time yet. Adam's been so flamboyant this season. He's actually been very entertaining to watch. He's been involved in a lot of contact and a lot of incidents, but he's been that one driver that's just been really entertaining. And he will welcome a fast teammate in the form of Mark Woodhouse. His previous teammate Chris Harbour is unfortunately injured to a point where he can't sim race at the moment, so my thoughts go out to Chris, and I hope he recovers very quickly and we can see him back on the grid again. Be interesting if he comes back and joins another team, wouldn't it? That'd be really cool. However, Adam Wright, like I say, can't do right from wrong at the moment. He's not set a time, and this is going to be the end of his 4th lap. It's easy to get an incident point around here, so you just need to not push it too hard, but you try telling Adam that. Andrew McKinley in the chat, good to see you, mate. Hope you are well. Thank you for jumping in and saying hello. Apologies for the earlier disconnection. As you all know, I am plagued by internet problems. And there's no warning for it, you know, there's nothing I can do. It's just to do with the street outside. So I have to just power on through. My 4G isn't good enough to cover it, despite only agreeing to unlimited data, because I thought it'd be good enough to stream with. But anyway, there's a DNA car off the side of the road. That's Mikey Doebel. Still no time from Adam Wright. And you've got an injury as well, Andrew. That's a shame. Hope you're alright, mate. Look at Adam there, just chucking the car in on the brakes, trying to use the brakes to get it rotated. No changes in the top 5 at the moment. Morgan Butler, the only driver within 1/4 of a second of Mats Borg Anderson. It looks like Mats has been maybe holding back a bit in practice. Either that or he's just pulled out a dream lap that even he didn't know he was capable of. But of course, Mark Woodhouse was fastest in practice, And now he's down in 8th in qualifying. Carl Jacquelet is currently the man that will go to pole position for the sprint race in 12th. I know that seems odd. And Woodhouse jumps up to 3rd. A 1:37.46 will stay with Adam Wright just to complete this lap and see what he can do. Michael Blake goes up to 9th. That means Donny Alfa Henriksen goes onto the front row. I think Adam might have overdone it in the chicane. Can he get a time on the board? It looked quick. It looked a bit tidier than his other laps. And he does. He goes 9th. Pushes Jacquelet off pole position. Matt's even in the chat saying he didn't sandbag in practice. Fair play. Great to have you with us, mate. Donny Henriksen currently sitting in that magical 12th place that will put him on pole. He doesn't get any points for that. It will be pole position for Donny Henriksen. Jason Rowe will be alongside him. Then it's Blake and Wright. But 2 of the newcomers in the top 3 in this session. Zach Gould is currently in 16th place. Mikey Doebel just 2 places ahead in 14th. Not too far off actually getting pole there is Mikey Doebel. A little improvement. We'll see him on the front row. Inherently. I do like those DNA Motorsport cars. They were the first cars that I painted for this championship when the idea popped into my head. Big fan of this car as well, the Team Euromet machine. James Underhill not with us unfortunately this evening, which is Jason Rowe's teammate. But I believe he doesn't have Zolder and Zandvoort, and he said for a championship where he's only going to race them once and never race them again, no point buying them, so fair play. I appreciate the honesty. Craig Schill's not having too much of a barnstormer at the moment. The state of the teams championship is actually quite interesting, to be fair, Alex. I don't have a graphic for it at the moment, I'm afraid. But Team Mood Springs, which is team consisting of Jack Johns and Stephen King, you see the pair of them here, showing why they're top of the teams championship, working together. They're on 159 points to the 130 points of Blade Speed Esports, Magic Sakovic and Victor Oliveira. Abruzzi Raceware, Morgan Butler and Ben Benioff are currently 3rd, 42 points off, and then everybody else is very close together. Darrington Francis and Pramac Racing, of which we have neither drivers tonight of Pramac Racing, are actually tied on 92 points. So it's nice and close there. Donny Henriksen's moved up to 5th place now, so that's a championship point, but he will no longer be on pole position. Doebel goes 13th, just missing out on that pole position. But he's only a second off the fastest time. That's good, and his, what I believe is his first outing in the car. Kieran Dempsey pulling over in the 5-a-day racing machine. So it's currently going to be Jason Rowe on the front row. Now don't forget as well that when the session does hit 15 minutes, it just stops. They don't get a chance to finish their lap. The session just ticks over. And of course, Alex, I didn't go to motor racing commentator school. I'm a complete amateur. I don't know what I'm doing. The stream's probably going to die now I've said that. You'll offend my internet. But no, honestly though, guys, for all of you that do watch, I really do appreciate you sticking with me through the technical issues. You know by now it's not my fault, really. I've tried to have them all sorted as much as I can, but you know how fickle the internet can be. Anyway, Magic Sakovic pulls over. He knows his session is done, and it looks like it's going to be Jason Rowe on the top spot. Michael Blake isn't going to have time to finish a lap. Stephen King is, but he's slowing down across the line. Doesn't look like anyone else is going to get a lap in, and no, the session ticks over. So Mats Borg Andersen, on his debut in the championship, goes fastest and gets the 5 points. But this is how the grid lines up then for race 1 of the night. Jason Rowe alongside Michael Blake on the front row. Then it's Adam Wright and John Bailiff on row 2. Kieran Dempsey lines up alongside Jack Johns. Magic Sakovic is 7th with Donny Henriksen 8th. Then it's Stephen King and Mark Woodhouse getting 2 and 3 points respectively. Great stuff from Mark. Morgan Butler, qualified 2nd, starts 11th with Mats Borg Andersen down in 12th. Then it is Mikey Doebel on his first appearance. Carl Jacquelet 14th, Ben Benioff down in 15th. That's a big surprise for me, that one. John Roberts is 16th. Zach Gould starts his first race from 17th. He outqualifies his teammate Tim Cox. They're split by Scott Malcolm with the other Ocean Racing Technology car of Michael Ellett in 20th. And Craig Schill rounds out the grid in 21st place. But there is Jason Rowe in the Team Euromet machine. And he's going to be looking for a strong performance in this one to really help boost his championship. He had a first fantastic meeting at Silverstone when the series got underway for the very first time. And listen to those turbo whistles. Makes a fantastic noise, does this car. Almost 375 brake horsepower from a 2-litre turbo 4-cylinder engine in the front. And next to nothing in the way of aero and grip. Anyway, we're about to get underway then at Zolder for round 7 of the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. And we're away. Fantastic start by Jason Rowe. It looked like Adam Wright was going nowhere, but I think it was the cars behind that were moving. Look at Sakovic down the inside. Maciej Sakovic up into second place before turn 1. They're 3 wide just behind as well. A little bit of argy-bargy going on there between some of them, but great start from Jason Rowe. There is a touch there between Michael Blake and Adam Wright. And look at the sea of cars behind them. There's 3 wide in the middle there. Mikey Doebel's on the outside of it. Adam Wright's off. Adam Wright's been elbowed out of the way, I think. He's still off the track, still coming back on. There goes Ben Bennyworth going through. Oh, everybody's steaming past him. But look at this at the front of this train. You've got Kieran Dempsey and Mark Woodhouse side by side. Just behind them is Stephen King. But it's Maciej Sakovic already going after Jason Rowe. Mark Woodhouse moving around in the background there. There's a bit of a check-up. There's contact with Stephen King. Morgan Butler's in it. Butler's sideways, manages to save it somehow. Bit of avoidance from Donnie Henriksen. I think Stephen King lost out in that as well. He's side by side with Mikey Doebel. Very close to making contact. They do make contact. Stephen goes in a little bit hot. Manages to get it stopped. What's going on here? Ben Bennyworth. Oh, contact with Adam Wright. And John Roberts. Mats Borg Anderson's not been able to really get anywhere at the moment. He's dropped 2 places from where he started. Another lively lap indeed in the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. Oh, there's a touch from Butler on Henriksen. I think Borg Anderson's overdone it as well. There's more contact further back. Again, Adam Wright involved. Loves a tap, this boy. I'm really not sure what happened to Adam Wright, but we will have to have a look. Let's go back. So he's side by side with Michael Blake. Oh, it just runs out wide after a tiny bit of touching. Nothing too untoward though. He crossed the line then. That is the end of lap 1. 9 laps here in the first race. Oh no, Donnie Henriksen's off. Oh, and that's Stephen King as well. Stephen King's had a slowdown penalty maybe. Adam Wright turns in, he's there. More contact. Stephen King's also a guy that's not afraid of getting his elbows out as well. He's had a number of biffs and bumps as the season got underway. Him and his teammate Jack John's actually coming under a bit of fire from other drivers after their performances at Zandvoort, which was an incredibly exciting meeting, despite my internet issues. Now, onto the brakes into the chicane. Bennyworth down the inside. Tim Cox there looking at the back of Roberts. Look at that from Stephen King, hopping all over the curbs. And I think he's being held up. Now, there's 2 Team Mad. Actually, never mind that. There's 4 Team Mad drivers outside of this series in the top 5. Jason Rowe, Maciej Sakovic, Michael Blake and Mark Woodhouse. They've got Jack Johns in 4th place, who promised me that he was going to put a race meeting together at some point. We need to look at this further down because the Dragonfly competition versus Ocean Racing Technology battle continues, with Craig Schill getting a front row seat. Zach Gould right in the thick of this in an Ocean Racing Technology sandwich, but we need to look to the very, very front of the field now because Jason Rowe has got Sakovic right behind him. Only a couple of tenths between the two of them. Can Maciej take his 4th win of the season and really start to dominate this championship even further? Mark Woodhouse does the fastest lap. Now Morgan Butler does the fastest lap. Goes past Carl Jacqueline. Oh, well, does he? Wow, wow, wow. Big argy-bargy moment there for Morgan. Surely something broken on the car. Oh, he's come back on. Quite abruptly as well. Not taking no for an answer. Let's have a look what happened. So Morgan goes down the inside. Oh, Carl turns in. And I think he was just expecting the 2 of them to overlap some more, but there was no such overlap. And now Morgan and Adam Wright side by side together. Just behind them is Mats Borg Andersen. Whoa, Donny Henriksen, excuse me. Big slide there. And the move for the lead, is it? No, not quite yet. Sakovic looking to try and find a way through. Big snake of cars goes with them. Mikey Doebel up into 8th place. Biggest mover in the field, tied with Woodhouse and Sakovic. Butler somehow holding on ahead of these boys. Constant battling once again, great to see. And Majek has done it for the lead. He's down the inside of Jason Rowe. Two of them just need to try and work together now, be a bit careful. And will they let the other guys in on this as well? No, Majek moves over. That's almost like him saying thank you. Wow, he's taking a lot of the grass there on the right-hand side. This is the view from on board with Mark Woodhouse. Currently in 5th position. We've got Bailiff there behind us. But in front is Jack Johns on Michael Blake. He goes down the inside, goes in a little bit deep. Now Jack's on the inside, Blake's on the outside. What's going to happen here? Woodhouse is waiting for an opportunity to come through. Great front row seat though from Mark Woodhouse. Guys in front just about giving each other room. It's nice stuff so far. Now Mark tries to get a run there. Michael Blake's gone a little bit wide. That's going to harm his pace. Does Jack feel the need to defend? No, not yet. Blake looks down the inside a little bit. Nothing doing at this point. Jack Johns up into 3rd place then for Team Mood Springs. He started 6th on the grid. He's had a great race so far. John Bailiff's currently in 6th. Oh, we've got John Roberts off the circuit. And Stephen King was involved there. I'm wondering whether there was any argy-bargy. Yes, there was. Drawing a lot of attention to himself, unfortunately, is Mr. King. Now John is behind Tim Cox, looking for a way through. Gives him a bit of a kiss to say hello. And this is close further up as well. Carl Jackalette and Adam Wright. Carl's on Adam's right. And in there too is Morgan Butler, who wants a piece of the action. Oh, he gets on the brakes a little bit to make sure that he doesn't turn Carl around. Morgan really fighting on with a very damaged car. Late on the brakes down the inside. Oh, how he didn't make contact with Adam right there, I don't know. How he did not make contact there, I don't know. Now Ben Bennyworth is in on this. It's really helped his teammate, actually, so thanks, Morgan. Good teamwork there. And these two across the line side by side as well. Oh, I think Ben might have just kissed the wall there slightly. It straightened the car up a little bit. Over the big curb on the exit as well. He's got Stephen King right behind him now. That's 15th place as well. There's battles all the way through the field, stretching all the way down to 16th position. And then there's another quintet of cars at the back. Sakovic is checked out at the moment, though. Jason Rowe holding on to 2nd place ahead of Jack Johns. Then in this train, we've got Kieran Dempsey and Mikey Doebel just bringing up the back of it. Good race for Mikey so far in his debut. Mats Borg Andersen has made his way up to 10th. From 12th on the grid. He's in a bit of no man's land currently. You get points all the way down to 16th position, so Tim Cox is currently on for the last of those championship points. So this is Stephen King, who with a lot of damage currently sits 15th. Now he's quite high up there in the championship, 2nd place going into this meeting, so he can't afford to be finishing here while Sakovic leads the race. Jason Rowe and Jack Johns getting feisty. Jack's a little bit all over the road there, and look at Michael Blake trying to come through on Rowe. They touch. Oh, Michael's in the barrier and he's across the road. And he's straight out of it. Oh, excuse me. Jason Rowe loses more and more positions. Bailiff goes through. Mark Woodhouse goes up into 3rd. And Michael Blake goes down the order. Let's have a look at what happened then with Jack Johns. So Jack moves out to the left. Hard on the brakes, a little bit later. Jason tries to fight it as much as he could. They both ran wide. Oh, Blake gets a tap from Woodhouse, and then he's hooked onto the side of Rowe. They both go to the left, and Blake comes off worse. Great avoidance from the guys behind. But a real shame there. 3 drivers, all from Team Mad, outside of this championship coming together. Look at Mikey Doebel down the inside of Kieran Dempsey. Get out of my way, sunshine. Coming through. Like a steam train there for Mikey Doebel. Really getting his elbows out. Now, they do have an incident limit, but it's for post-race penalties, so there's no incident limit in the race. But if they hit 20 incidents during the race, oh, Adam writes off big time. He has gone down the inside of somebody there. Is it going to stop bouncing? No. He's gone down the inside of somebody there, and he's been turned right. I can tell you that for free. Oh, no. Massive hit with Morgan Butler. What on earth? Oh, the two of them come together big time. Not quite sure what was in that, but that was a huge hit. And that's a real shame to see. John Roberts has just gone off as well. Now look at this. This is the battle for second place. Mark Woodhouse making himself very handy right now as he goes down the inside of Jack Johns. Takes second nice and easily. John Bailiff wants a piece of this as well. The Bailiff is knocking on the door. Jason Rowe's dropped off a little bit, but he's got to think about this as well now because Mikey Doebel is on the back of him. Kieran Dempsey is up there too. Woodhouse is having a fantastic race. He started 10th on the grid and he's up to second at the moment. Some great battles though. You've got to love this. The championship has been nothing short of entertaining all the way through, but it's this man that is once again right at the peak. And despite a little bump here and there, maybe an accidental upshift, Maciej Sakovic is throwing everything at this. Carl Jackalette and Morgan Butler swapping places. Carl goes through into 10th. Now Morgan gets the run on the exit of the corner. It's been biffed and barged in all angles as Morgan's car. Dave Crozier in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Stud Muffin Mark, he says. Oh, Jason's off. Jason Rowe is off the circuit at the Villeneuve chicane. What on earth has happened here? Hopefully nothing with Mikey Doebel. Oh, Mikey's car just moves on the brakes. These things do wobble around on the brakes a lot, and it just went left and just tipped Jason around. That's such a shame after he started at the very front of the grid. Still in the top 10 though, so it's a good result so far. I'm keeping my eye on Stephen King and Ben Bennyworth as well, who were very close together there. A bit too close for comfort. Down the inside goes Stephen. Bennyworth's on the apex for the right-hander. Manages to have him around the outside there. Good stuff. Oh, John Roberts has gone off now as well with what is a very, very damaged cars. Cars? One car. John only has the one car for this championship. But this is your continued battle for second, although, scratch that for a minute. It's Jason Rowe, Morgan Butler now side by side, with Carl Jackalette in there too. I think Morgan is just nursing a very, very damaged car right now. I mean, look at the state of it. If we go on board with Carl Jackalette, you'll see completely ruined back end of Morgan Butler. His car, I mean. Oh, now. Bailiff has just overtaken Jack Johns for P3. Wondering whether Bailiff might have got a slowdown or something. Sorry, whether Jack Johns got a slowdown or something, I should say. This is a great, great race so far from Mark Woodhouse. Ahead of this big train of cars. Oh, Jackalette sideways. He's in with a bit of argy-bargy with Stephen King. Ben Bennyworth now trying to go past Stephen as well. Let's have a quick look at what caused this. So Stephen on the left-hand side of Jackalette, down the inside. That's going to then become the outside of the chicane. Moves around a lot. Bit of argy-bargy as they go in. Oh, yeah. You can't really turn in there when there's a car on the apex. Anyway, we're on the final lap of the race, and it's this man, Maciej Sakovic, that currently leads the race by 4.2 seconds over Mark Woodhouse and everybody else. Jack Johns down the inside of John Bailiff. And now Doebel tries to take advantage. Down the inside again. Bailiff's there. Doebel does a good job to get out of that and not make contact. There is contact with Jack Johns. I don't think Jack knew he was there. Oh, Mikey's just clinging to the right corner of Jack's car. A bit of contact. They both go wide, but Doebel's through. Doebel goes up into 4th place. After some very, very hard work, Jack Johns looks down the inside. Nothing doing there this time round. Further back, we've got Stephen King and Ben Bennyworth still going at it. Please don't make contact, boys. And even further back than that, Tim Cox and Scott Malcolm still having a scrap. Zach Gould and Craig Schill right together. Zach Gould gets a mega run on Michael Elliott, but we need to look a bit further forward at this train of cars behind John Bailiff, because that could all still change. Either way, this certainly isn't going to change, I don't think. Maciej Sakovic leading a race in the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. It's almost inevitable. As into the final chicane he goes, and the Polish driver has done an immaculate job once again. Started 7th on the grid and takes his 4th win of the season. Can anybody stop Maciej Sakovic? Beautiful stuff. And what a debut for Mark Woodhouse. Awesome drive. 2nd place. John Bailiff 3rd ahead of Jack Johns, who did get back ahead of Mikey Doebel. Not quite sure how. We'll have to see. Dempsey is 7th. Mats Borg Anderson is 8th. Now let's have a look what happened to Johns and Doebel, because there was a change. Oh, Mikey moved over, and Jack just chucked it up the inside. Fair play, really. Can't argue too much with that. But what a win for Maciej Sakovic. What a win indeed, and what a great race as well. The whole field separated by less than 20 seconds of those that finished. That was proper solid racing. Well, let's have a little look at our results then, because that was a thoroughly enjoyable one. Maciej Sakovic then wins by 4.3 seconds, and as Pete Harrod joins in the chat, it's another trophy to add to his growing collection this season, and he has his Team Mad teammate behind him as well, Mark Woodhouse, in 2nd place. That's a fantastic debut. John Bailiff gets a podium for Vertex Esports. Nice controlled drive from him. Jack Johns, flamboyant as ever, in 4th. Mikey Doebel really bringing the noise in 5th. Donnie Henriksen gets a strong 6th place in car 66, with Kieran Dempsey in 7th. Mats Borg Anderson from 12th to 8th. Not a bad result for him. Morgan Butler 9th, and Jason Rowe finishes the race in the top 10. To be fair, I'm surprised Morgan even finished that race with all the damage on the car. Stephen King managed to recover in car 11 to P11. Ben Bennyworth was 12th ahead of John Roberts in 13th. Carl Jacquelet, Tim Cox and Scott Malcolm all get points. Craig Schill was 17th with Michael Elliott 18th. And unfortunately, behind them was Zach Gould, who just missed out at the very end. Adam Wright and Michael Blake, after their 2 incidents, both did not finish the race. But a man that made a very, very good impression in that first one was Mikey Doebel, of course, real-life racing driver as well, Mikey. He's raced in the BMW Compact Cup. I've commentated on him and met him in person, and he also has been racing in the Ginetta GT5 Challenge this year. A new venture for him and his team. But he's been doing both series this year as well. He's a very busy boy, is Mikey. A very quick one indeed. It's a nice way to start his campaign for DNA Motorsport. Craig Schill, he wasn't quite as on it as we've seen him earlier in the season, unfortunately, in that race. Missing out on getting points. But still had some good battles a bit further down the order, and that's what it's all about, to be honest. Anyway, if you just bear with me for a few minutes, I'm just going to take a very quick break. Just make sure that everything is still running smoothly here behind the scenes, and I will be back with you. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott here with the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. Round 7 has been completed, and it's another race win for Maciej Sakovic. His 4th race win of the season. Double that of his next closest rival when it comes to race wins, and that's Ben Kriener, a driver who is not with us this evening. So, plenty of argy-bargy, plenty of action in that one. We're going to see more of the same in this second race. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to win this one. We've seen Maciej do a wonderful job from the very front before, master his pit stops as well. Do you think he can do it again? Not too long left of the warm-up session yet, but just a quick reminder of the result of that previous race. There you go. 4.3 second lead for Maciej Sakovic at the line after everybody else was battling so hard behind him. Great debuts from Mark Woodhouse, Mikey Doebel and Mats Borg Anderson. Zach Gould unfortunately missing out a little bit further down the order, finishing in 19th position. Craig Schill just missing out on points as well in 17th. Scott Malcolm grabbed the last. Hello again. Guess what? Are you as sick of it as I am? Yeah, me too. Good thing we've got a few minutes of warm-up left. We'll be getting straight back into it now then. And hopefully we'll have complete coverage all the way through of round 8 of the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. Just bear with me then and we will get back into the session. Okay, so we have cars out on track again. They literally have 20 seconds left of the warm-up session before the second race of the night. Half-hour race. So hopefully, like I say, we'll get completely uninterrupted coverage of that second race, where the drivers have to complete a mandatory pit stop and take at least 2 tyres. Now, this may seem harsh to you, but I've purposely not told the new drivers that detail because, in fairness, I think they need to learn that themselves. What do you think? Let me know. Let me know how much of a word I can't say on stream. Let me know how much of one of those you think I am. Anyway, Maciej Sakovic starts race 2 on pole position. It's basically the finishing order of race 1. Mark Woodhouse alongside him, then it's John Bailiff and Jack Johns, Mikey Doebel alongside Donny Henriksen, Kieran Dempsey and Mats Borg Anderson make up row 4. Morgan Butler and Jason Rowe round out your top 10. We'll filter through the rest of them on your screen now. Stephen King and Ben Bennyworth on row 6, with the rest of them behind. 21 cars here this evening out of the 30 that signed up to the championship. Not a bad turnout at all, if you ask me. So, can Sakovic, for the second time this season, take both race wins in one evening? Or are we going to see another driver take their first win? Let's see. What can Woodhouse do from the second spot on the grid? Round 8 of the Chaz Draycott Media European Town. Yeah, that is underway. Great start from Stephen King. Look at him come flying through there. Sorry, it's Jack Johns through the middle of John Bailiff and Mark Woodhouse. Gets it stopped in front of the pair of them. Any argy-bargy further back? Doesn't look like it. Looks like everybody behaving themselves so far. Let's go on Blimpy Boy. See if we see any hits and taps and knocks in the field. Everyone being the good boy at the moment. About Jason Rowe and Stephen King in the middle there. We know that Stephen likes to certainly draw attention to himself on track. Let's see. Jack Johns is side by side with Mark Woodhouse, it looks like, as well, for second place. Is Stephen going to get in front? Mats Borg Anderson nearly into the back of him. Oh, and Stephen's gone into Kieran Dempsey, is that? We've got Michael Blake dropping down the order as well. I think there was a bit of a check-up further back. Wow, look at Kieran Dempsey around Mikey Doebel. Mikey's got a slowdown penalty, surely. Morgan Butler goes through. Now, this is a half-hour race, so you'd expect these boys to be taking it easy, but no, no, no. They will not. You try telling 21 sim racers that. Yeah, take it easy into turn 1. It's almost become the motto of iRacing at the moment that nobody listens to. Now then, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and so on. It's quite the train at the moment. I should say just 2nd to 5th, because Sakovic has once again disappeared early on, and they don't need this. These guys need to stop fighting and just get on with it. Oh, Morgan Butler and Mikey Doebel lean on each other a little bit into the chicane. But Doebel goes through. Now, Mats Borg Anderson has got Stephen King just in front of him. King and Butler, both two drivers that will not spare an inch of track space if they don't have to. Matt's looking down the inside, nothing doing there. He's just holding back here quite patiently, waiting for Stephen King to try and pounce on Morgan Butler. Just to see if he gets held up slightly, or if Morgan over-defends it and really backs them up mid-corner. But a nice even start there from everybody. Really good stuff. Michael Blake goes past Michael Ellett. A bit of an argy-bargy there. Adam Wright going through. I think Michael Ellett's car might be a little bit broken from that. Seems a little bit all over the place. There's Jack Ellett down the inside of Zach Gould. The back end of Zach's car saying no thank you. Oh, Anderson looking right down the inside of Stephen King there into the Villeneuve chicane. Nothing doing for him. Climbing all over the back of him, though. He's trying everything he can at the moment, isn't he? Hard into the braking zone for the hairpin. It's such a beautiful, picturesque circuit, this. Looks wonderful from any camera. Trees everywhere. Now in front, Morgan Butler and Mikey Doebel are having a scrap. Morgan gives him a bit of a tap out of the chicane. You can see Morgan being nice and careful there, getting on the brakes to make sure there wasn't further contact. It's good sportsmanship. Now, is he going to try and go around the outside at turn 1, or is he trying the cutback here? It looks like it's the latter. Doebel knows how to defend, though, especially in a white and blue car. His car in the real world actually looks quite similar to the front of that, you know. It's white with a blue bonnet. They're really just showing each other the sidewalls of their tyres at the moment. And oh, that's the second time tonight that's happened with Morgan Butler. And contact with a car on the outside or the inside of him. That he's turned to the outside of a corner. And it doesn't need to happen. You'll see, look, Mikey's just running a little bit wide, but Morgan's got some sort of cutback run on him, and he just keeps his foot in it. And we've seen that a lot this season. You know, the famous quarter panel is very effective with the Kia, but it just doesn't need to happen. But in all fairness to the drivers, when you do get hooked together like that, it's so hard to react quickly enough when you realise that it's going completely wrong. And Mikey Doebel now has to crawl back to the pits with a lot of damage. It's a real shame, that, because his debut was going so well. Roberts is up into 10th place. John Roberts has gained 3 spots from where he started. Do the maths, you'll figure out he started 13th on the grid. There's Scott Malcolm. Wow, what on earth has happened there to Scott Malcolm? He's on the brakes. He's trying to stop the car moving. What on God's earth was that? So Adam Wright is in there. Well, Scott just doesn't give the room, and then the car just takes off. Try it from the chopper view. You see Adams alongside. Yeah, Scott sort of goes for the curb on the right. Doesn't really open it up too much, and unfortunately that's going to be either the end of his evening or at least the end of his race. Now, for the race lead, Maciej Sakovic is being closed in on by Jack Johns here. Jack Johns looking very racy tonight. He just doesn't need to push too hard here. We've seen it before from Jack. He can be a little bit over-ambitious sometimes. Him and his teammate Stephen are not scared of moving forward. Again, really close to contact round there. Oh, there is a bit of contact into the chicane. Jack just shovels him out of the way. Says, take that. Thank you very much. I'll have that lead. Not sure how happy Magic's going to be with that. Now here's a little star of the championship so far. Donny Alpha Henriksen, the Dane. Car 66 for Mirage Sport. Teammates with Rob Lundgren. He's at the back of this train at the moment, watching John Bailiff try and get past Mark Woodhouse, try and get past Magic Sakovic. We've got a long way to go in this race. We're nearly at 1/3 race distance already, but they do have a pit window that they have to abide by. From the 10-minute to the 25-minute mark of the race. So long as the 25-minute mark doesn't fall on the final lap. A bit further back, Stephen King and Mats Borg Anderson are having a fight as well. I say a bit further back. They're not too far back, are they? 7th and 8th place at the moment. Mats Borg Anderson's been great so far. Nope. Oh, he actually looks down the inside of Stephen there into the right-hander. Lovely stuff. Stephen gives him the room as well. Or does he? Close racing, but great pace and great consistency from Mats Borg Anderson. He was constantly moving forward in the first race, but just not quite at the rate that he would have wanted. Now, is Sakovic going to try and return the favour here on Jack Johns? Is he just going to give him a little bit of a tap and say, this is what you did to me, this is how it feels, mate? Jack got a good run out of that chicane, though. It's hard to follow people through there, you know, because their entire car just fills your vision. Oh, Maciek! Oh, Maciek! Oh, dearie me. That's giving what you got tenfold. And now Jack Johns way down the order. I do not think that was on, really. He just caught him, and it was the second bit that turned him around. I hate these moments as a series director. Now, Magic did get out of the power, but with no flash of the brake lights. That's for you to decide for now. I'm not doing that live. Anyway, Magic's now got his teammate at Team Mad all over the back of him here. Mark Woodhouse literally bump drafting him down the straight. Jason Rowe is into the pits. First driver to take a stop. Now all the different lines around these first couple of corners make for very interesting racing, because you can throw everything at these first few. Kieran Dempsey up there. It's good to see him back up near the sharp end again. Currently in 5th position in the 5-a-day car. Stephen King right with Mats Borg Anderson as well. These two will probably work together a little bit here in the hope of getting back through. Adam Wright has had an issue. Tim Cox and Adam Wright having a bit of a scrap. Oh no. Adam just arrived on the scene. Wrong place, wrong time, I think. Let's see. So that's Tim Cox and Michael Blake. Michael runs very wide. Oh, I think Tim comes over to just follow Michael, and then there's a bit of contact, and around he goes. It's a miracle he didn't hit anything else, to be fair. But Adam won't be too pleased with that, and I imagine Jack Johns won't be too pleased right now. He's in 14th position, still in the points, but when you have a moment like that for the race lead, it's not something you want to see. I mean, you don't want to see that for any position, but for the race lead, it's all the more important, isn't it? A third race distance nearly completed then, the end of lap 6. Let me know what you think of that incident there, everybody. Let's get the backseat stewards in the chat. Liam Atkins, good to see you, mate. Oh, hello. Mark Woodhouse saying, look, Majek, this is what you did to him. Don't be naughty. Here comes John Bailiff through down the inside. He wants to take 2nd position, and does so. But again, don't fight, boys, because Majek will just disappear over the horizon. They know this. They need to be patient and try and work together to get past Majek. It's literally everybody versus Majek at the moment. I'm not calling for any sort of bullying or harassment or anything, so please don't report me. But they need to just work together to go forward here. It's a great train all the same, isn't it? Mats Borg Anderson on the back of it now. He's dropped Stephen King by a second. Look at Bailiff just still putting the pressure on. He stays to the left maybe just to stay out of the way of Donny Henriksen as well, to make sure that he's got a good line of sight through the corner. so they can all move together as one. Liam says racing incident in the chat. Then again, you are Magic's teammate. Still, I love watching these cars go through the Villeneuve chicane. So fluid through there. Now Donnie Henriksen right behind Bailiff. I think Bailiff may be pushing a little bit too hard here to stay with Woodhouse, who has closed back up to Sakovic. Bailiff runs a bit wide, but gets a good run out of it. But Woodhouse is now the one that's on the move. Nope. You've got to try those nose cams. Well, the EMKA racing car going well in the hands of Mark Woodhouse. Liam doesn't know magic. Oh, fair enough. This is a battle going a little bit further down. Michael Blake and Ben Bennyworth both in the pits now. Michael Blake's gained 11 spots in this race so far. He's really flying. Bringing up the pit stops on the left-hand side as well so you can see who has made them. Jason Rowe, the highest of those that's pitted at the minute. Now, what was a big train at the front is actually separated here. Kieran Dempsey is over a second behind Donnie Henriksen now. Top three are currently as they started. Morgan Butler is 9th, behind John Roberts, who's having a good run so far. Morgan Butler is also where he started. He's the only other driver outside of the top three that currently retains his grid position. Now, Stephen King has got past Mats Borg Anderson there. Let's have a quick look at how this happened. Kieran Dempsey had a moment there as well. Oh, I think Mats Borg Anderson's just had a slow down penalty. Yeah, he has. Gets on the brakes and that's that. Oh no. Tim Cox is off. Comes back on. He was going well as well, was Tim. He's lost 10th spot there. It's all going on once again though. The championship never fails to entertain, does it? I must say though, you know, with all these incidents and so on, it may sound like I'm sort of stirring up drama. I hate drama. I like everybody to get on, and a lot of the guys in this championship all really do get on. Kieran Dempsey hopped to the top of the times there because he almost cut the chicane to jump into the pits. John Roberts and Morgan Butler both jumping in as well. Excuse me, Mr. Cameraman, don't spin around too fast. Look at Woodhouse all over the back of Sakovic here. Mark Woodhouse very quick in the Audi TCR car as well. The RS3 LMS here on iRacing, so he knows what a front-wheel drive touring car should drive like. And let's face it, this isn't your normal front-wheel drive touring car, is it, this thing? Developed to be a GT car, the Kia Optima GTS. Crazy fast in a straight line. Just an all-round mad machine, to be honest. Stephen King, 5th at the moment, started 11th on the grid after his incident in race 1. And he'll be pleased with that. He's had a really good race so far. Zach Gould, biggest mover in the field. He's up 10 places. You can argue that, you know, a lot of them are pitting at the moment, but Zach Gould going very well indeed. Now, where's Kieran Dempsey going to come out? He's going to be the highest placed of those that's pitted, I think. Jason Rowe coming through turn 1 now. Where's Jason going to be in regards to John Roberts as well? I think that's John just in front there. No, actually, he's just ahead of John Roberts, who is there side by side with Michael Blake. Blake goes around the outside of him. Pit stop times all around 25 seconds at the moment. And I feel that a lot of these drivers aren't just taking the 2 tyres. Magic Sakovic, your race leader and championship leader, is in. Mats Borg Anderson has had a hit. And Donnie Henriksen has had something go on as well. Oh, I think 2 separate incidents there. I think Mats has just overcooked it on the way into the pits, and Donnie Henriksen maybe crashed into the pit wall or something. Sakovic stops in his box. There's Mark Woodhouse just behind. Cars go up. Now, are you going to see Mark Woodhouse take 4 tyres here? Sakovic's car gets laid back down. Does it go up on the other side? It does. Magic taking all 4 tyres here. Either that or he's just taking the 2 on the front. All of the revs build up and they all get going again. You can hear them ready, burning off the fuel they're putting in. And one by one, like the red arrows, they just pop away. And through they go. So where's Kieran Dempsey? Here he is coming down the straight. I think Magic is already pretty much gone. Yeah, there they are up the road. So Kieran, unfortunately, not taking the lead after pit stops there, but everybody taking at least tyres on both sides, it looked like, as Jason Rowe gets a nice cutback on John Bailiff. Down the inside he goes. Shortest pit stop of the race so far is by Carl Jacquelet, 26.5 seconds. And as you can see at the top, we've got 4 drivers that haven't pitted yet. Mats Borg Anderson, Jack Johns, Tim Cox and Adam Wright. And one of them's in now. Mats Borg Anderson. And I'm going to be completely oblivious to what he's doing there. I don't know why he's changing gear so much. So Sakovic leads those that have pitted, only just ahead of Mark Woodhouse. Kieran Dempsey, though, right behind. They were being followed by the likes of Donny Henriksen and others before, but they've all properly dropped off. Further down the order, Donny 14th at the minute. This is the battle. Michael Blake looking down the inside of Bailiff. Morgan Butler in there as well. Great scrap between these guys. And actually, John Bailiff's got a really good run on Jason Rowe going into the chicane. Doesn't make anything of it yet. Stephen King in the background of this as well. He's ready and waiting. So Mats Borg Anderson has pitted. Adam Wright has as well. But Jack Johns has continued. He's back in the race lead. Not the way he would have liked to have gone down the order and back up. He would have much rather done that in his pit stop. But it's about a minute that you spend in the pit lane. And he's about half a minute ahead of Majek at the moment. That's Tim Cox just behind him. 1.4 seconds back. Oh, there he goes. And there's Majek through turn 4. Mark Woodhouse sticking with him though. Woodhouse has been severely impressive tonight. If he hadn't have only joined us at round 7 onwards, you could say he's a potential title challenger. As Jason Rowe's had a massive off. Oh, there's cars all over the shop. Stephen King's involved. Jason Rowe needs to get that thing out of the way. He gets a hit from Carl Jacquelet. What on earth happened here? So Stephen passed Jason. He was on the left. They come together. Oh, and Stephen gets hit by Mats Borg Anderson. That takes him out. John Roberts gets a hit off that as well. Let's have a look at it from Stephen's point of view. Straightens up the steering. There wasn't a full car's width there. He went to try and keep the run by going on the grass, but I'm afraid it's another incident involving Stephen King in one of the Mood Springs cars. They may be top of the championship at the moment, but they're the top of my stress levels, I won't lie. So, we carry on then with 2 Team Mad drivers at the very front of the field. Woodhouse is making this severely interesting now. Kieran Dempsey sits in 3rd place. He'll be happy with this evening. Some good points coming his way. Michael Blake has gained 16 spots. Started 21st and last on the grid. And he's up to 5th. He's got Morgan Butler right behind him. 6 laps to go after this one. But it's a great, great drive so far from Michael Blake. 27.5 second pit stop, one of the fastest that we've seen today. And he continues to be on the pace and making his way through the field. He's got a very clean car as well to go with it, I have to say. It's not like he's been barging everyone out of the way here. Morgan Butler doing well in 6th. He started 9th in this race. John Roberts going well. He started 10th. He's up to 7th. Good night of points for John. Closest 2 cars on track though are these guys, Adam Wright and Craig Schill, for 2 of the final points positions. Oh, just in front of them, that was Tim Cox sending himself very sideways over the curb. Now, how can these guys capitalise on that? They really can catch up. Look at that, Craig Schill down the inside. Thank you very much. 2 very good friends, these guys. Adam Wright there as well. Oh, Tim's car's all over the shop on the brakes. How did he get that stopped? I think Craig absolutely cacked his pants then on the way into the Villeneuve chicane. You could hear him going, ugh. You've got to love that, though. Great fun. Now, there's Kieran Dempsey, but there is John Bailiff. John got a podium in race 1. He started 3rd on the grid, and he wants that podium position back. We're on to lap 13. ETCC Esports driver with what looks like a very glittery grille, because I made it very shiny. He's looking racy at the moment. It's an angry looking car, isn't it, this Kia? It's an angry sounding car as well. It certainly does make a great noise. You can hear them just scrabbling for grip at the front as they get on the power while turning. There's just no gap between them whatsoever for 3rd. Kieran just keeps it nice and straight. He's not letting himself get phased at the moment. John on the brakes. You see the car move over to the right. You see behind them Michael Blake and Morgan Butler trying to capitalise as well. Any battling that happens with these guys in front of them means that they can catch up. Oh, John's car really bounced around on the curb there, and that won't have been comfortable. Especially if he's got a strong force feedback wheel. Now, he just needs to stick with Kieran Dempsey at this point. Just figure out where he's quicker. Never mind, stuff that. He's already side by side with him. He got a fantastic run off that hairpin. Kieran must have properly lit the fronts up and missed a shift or something. Oh no, that's about the 58th time that's happened to John Bailiff this season. Gone into a chicane on the brakes and been kissed. Kieran Dempsey slowed down to let him back on. Michael Blake's gone through. Blake's going to go for a podium position here. He's gained 17 places. Make that 18 for car 18. He's had no luck this season as Michael Blake. He's going to hope that that finally changes, but he's going to be so careful in his final laps. I'm amazed John Bailiff hasn't got a bigger slowdown penalty or something from that. But again, it was just typical stuff for John Bailiff. Kieran gets on the brakes, just gives him that tiny tap that puts him on the grass, flicks the car the other way. Tim Cox, by the way, has had an off, I'm afraid. Oh, he's had the same on the grass, not into Craig. Oh, no. Oh, he's bounced off the front of Craig Schill. We go back to this then, the fight for the final podium spot. Michael Blake, currently in 4th, trying to get away from, well, catch up to the seemingly indestructible John Bailiff. He's got Morgan Butler, though, chasing him very calmly at the moment. Morgan putting in a really solid drive this evening for good championship points. He knows that he needs to just keep his head, not get ahead of himself, and overdo it. That's what a lot of drivers can very easily do. He's got a great run on Blake there, but look, you can see he's using the brakes. He knows that he doesn't need to keep his foot in it. He doesn't need to push Michael along. He doesn't need to shove him out of the way. He's just exercising that caution at the moment. And look at Donnie Henriksen. I'll tell you what, the other thing he's exercising at the moment is the crash structure on the front of his Kia as he pushes Kieran Dempsey about. I think it's called a crumple zone, isn't it? That's the word I was looking for. Oh, Kieran's got in a bit hot in the chicane. Donnie just climbing around all over the back of it. He's certainly getting his 5 a day. Cross the line once again. We're on to lap 15 now, and it is Maciej Sakovic. 1.1 seconds clear of Mark Woodhouse. These two, again, showing brilliant quality of drivers living at Team Mad. Oh, look at that from Donnie Henriksen around the outside. Tasty stuff. Almost as tasty as the fruit on Kieran Dempsey's car. Jackalette is in the pits for some reason. Not sure why. Sakovic is off the circuit. Not sure why, but we will find out. Need any sort of reason we can to show that Maciej is not invincible. Hits the first curb, hits the second. Carries a little bit too much pace through there. And he's back on with it, but the gap is now bigger than it was before on Mark Woodhouse. Incredible. Joker lap, as Liam Atkins says. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I'm all for that. Joker laps around a track like this, that'd be funny. I'm not sure why Carl Jackalette was in the pits for as long as he was, but he's back out now. This is a very interesting battle, this. Michael Blake and Morgan Butler. Two very exciting drivers. Michael just needs a bit of good luck in this championship. He was 10th coming into this. Really feel for you, Jason, in the chat. Jason Rowe saying that one hurt. I'm not surprised. That was a big, big hit. There's a real shame for Mats Borg Andersen as well, who got caught up in that one. He was having a fantastic debut evening. Qualified fastest out of everybody. Had a strong first race. Now, the lead gap has come down here. Maciej Sakovic now only 0.7 of a second ahead of Mark Woodhouse. Mark has suddenly switched the pace back on here. He's now within half a second. What has gone on here for Maciej? Is he letting him through? Looks like he's letting him through. Maybe he needs to do a bit of fuel saving. Maciej had the longer pit stop. I think Maciej's underfueled this. Maybe a slowdown, but I'm really not sure. We're gonna go back a long way here. But that's definitely fuel saving, isn't it? I severely think that I see severely a lot tonight. But yeah, Sakovic fuel saving. Mark Woodhouse leads the race, but Mark had a shorter pit stop than Maciej. What does that say? Oh no, Michael Elliott's off, just ahead of these guys. We need to go back to this as well, because this is still kicking off as well. They may be half-hour races, which you think maybe a bit long for a touring car race, Chaz, but no, trust me, these things are good fun. We're coming up to 28 minutes now on the penultimate lap. 2.5 minutes to go. Severally lifting, says Liam. Yeah, that one. John Roberts, by the way, is caught up to Kieran Dempsey, who I think also might have to be fuel saving at this moment in time. This is intriguing, because some of the pit stop times are very different to one another. But look at that, John Roberts nicely down the inside into 7th place. Yeah, Maciej is a race engineer on iRacing. I should tell you all that. So he's not calculated his own fuel right. That's going to go on the CV, I'm sure. And it's just a shame for him. He's got a lot of the Team Mad Boys in the chat watching on as well. Hello to all of you. Great to see you all in the chat, lads. Really is. Your support for everything I've done has been mind-blowing. Now, Michael Blake is getting out of the way. Donnie Henriksen down the inside. Is Michael Blake fuel saving? Yeah, that to me looks like fuel saving as well. Oh, no luck for Michael Blake, man. No luck at all. Now, is it just going to be so that everybody that drives for Team Mad is going to have the same issue here with fuel? This is your race leader on his debut this evening, Mark Woodhouse. Let's listen. No, there ain't no fuel saving going on here, sunshine. Ain't no fuel saving going on here. Oh, or is there? It's his own method, isn't it? It's definitely his own method. Now, where's John Bailiff in this? He's 9.7 seconds back, so I don't think he's going to be able to do anything at this point. But we're on to the final lap, and it is debutant Mark Woodhouse taking the reins at the front of the field. Maciej Sakovic, his teammate at Team Mad, within 2 seconds. Actually, the gap has just gone over 2 seconds as I said that. Now look at John Roberts here. I don't think John needs to save fuel here. He was in the pits for 3 seconds longer than Michael Blake. Doesn't mean that he needs to tap him out of the way, but I think Michael maybe closed that gap off more than he should have there. Around the outside goes John. He's going to say thank you very much. I'm going to try and take that position from you. Michael's going to say not in your life. Oh, a little bit of a tap and a barge. Oh, very close to the back of him. With all Michael's bad luck this season, this is just making my eyes bleed. Don't do it. Don't do it. Boys! Stop it! For God's sake. I can't take this. I'm going to get messages from both of them. Right, Kieran Dempsey goes up to 7th then at the expense of Michael Blake. But they're all fuel saving, and so is this man. But he's out in front by over 3 seconds now. Mark Woodhouse, round the hairpin. Once more. I'm listening to the car, see whether it's spitting and spluttering. The gap is very, very quickly coming down now for Mark Woodhouse, but he's into the final chicane. And he's out the final corner. What a fantastic win for Mark Woodhouse. 2 out of 2 tonight for Team Mad. EMKA Racing get their first win of the season. Sakovic, first and a second. That's not a bad night in the office, is it? John Bailiff is going to take his second podium of the evening. And in the background, Donnie Henriksen and Morgan Butler giving everybody a bit of a show. Henriksen takes it. Butler out of fuel. Across the line in 5th. John Roberts takes 6th ahead of Dempsey. Michael Blake. Oh, he loses out on the line to Jack Johns. Oh, Ben Bennyworth is going to round out the top 10. Oh, Michael Blake losing out right at the end there. There's Ben Bennyworth. There's Zach Gould on his debut. Gets some points in that race. Adam Wright, 12th. Craig Schill is going to be 13th. And Mikey Doebel, despite the damage early on, makes it to the end of the race in 14th spot. Across the line he goes. Next up is going to be Carl Jacquelet, bouncing his way around the final corner. A lot of them are saving fuel there, so they really didn't calculate that one to go as long as it did. But that's why we have pit stops in races like this. It keeps it interesting, doesn't it? There's Tim Cox in a very, very broken car across the line. I thought he was drifting for a second there. But there's the moment that Mark Woodhouse took the race win. Great drive from Mark. Let's listen. He doesn't need to worry about fuel saving there. He knows he's done it. A bit of a weave as well. The stud muffin on his debut tonight in the championship takes a race win. Very, very well done to Mark Woodhouse. And here are your race results then. Nope, I'll get the right race. That'll be a good way to do it. Mark Woodhouse wins 2 seconds back to Maciej Sakovic, 10 seconds ahead of John Bailiff, who gets 2 podiums tonight. Very well done to John. Good haul of points for him. Donnie Henriksen, a 6th and a 4th. You can't argue with that. Morgan Butler gets 5th. John Roberts gets his best result in 6th place. Kieran Dempsey ends up 7th. Jack Johns just beats Michael Blake over the line there in 9th. He'll be absolutely gutted after such a great performance. Still some good points for Michael though. Ben Bennyworth finishes 10th. Zach Gould on his debut is 11th ahead of Adam Wright in 12th. And it's Craig Schill and Mikey Doebel, with Carl Jacquelet and Tim Cox rounding out the points. Michael Elliott and Scott Malcolm didn't really set the world alight tonight, unfortunately, for Ocean Racing Technology. And then the drivers that we lost from the race were Mats Borg Anderson, Stephen King and Jason Rowe in that big, big incident that we saw. But to be fair, that was the only real big incident of the race, other than potentially, you could say, Morgan and Mikey Doebel coming together. But there's your race winner then, Mark Woodhouse. Truly dominant performance this evening from Maciej Sakovic, you have to say, but Mark did a very, very strong job in that one to take his first win of the season. And we're actually going to speak to a man that just about got his position at the end of that race there. Jack Johns joins me in the box. Jack, you must be pretty pleased to have at least snatched a position back there, but maybe a little bit bitter about the contact early on. Talk to me.
Oh, it's one of them. It's one of them days. I felt comfortable for probably the first time this season. And to be fair, actually, before I set comment on the incident, we've got some, you've probably mentioned in the stream, we've got some new drivers, and they're such an addition. They were really, really strong today. The first race, I had probably the most fun I've had so far this season with Mikey Doebel and Mark Woodhouse. They're just great additions. It's good to see him on the grid. In terms of that race, like, I don't know, fresh tyres. I felt like I had the pace. It was nice to close back onto the back of Magic for a change, and then got the move done everything I needed to do, and then just where it slows down. It's kind of happened before. It's happened at Brands. We've had a few comings together with Magic from behind, but and then it just wouldn't turn. I couldn't get it back on track quick enough, to be honest, Eva. It wouldn't turn on the gravel. And
I felt your pain on that.
Yeah, it came out in, like, I don't know what position. It was 17th-ish. It was around that area. And then it was just a slog back up to try and get us back. It was damage limitation. It's happened before. I'm sure it will happen again, but it was a good event. I think I'll look at the positives of the first sprint, and I think the pace is starting to come in the car. So looking forward to the next few rounds.
Yeah, it's certainly, the narrower, twistier tracks like this where it really does check up in a chicane like that. They are very testing on the patience in these cars, especially the way they move around a lot on the brakes. You know, they're not incredibly stable machines when it comes to braking zones, so you can sort of expect it sometimes. But you know, we did feel your pain here. I know there was a lot of people in the chat that watched and saw that and thought, oh no, especially like you say, the way it wouldn't come back around as well. It's not like you can just whack the handbrake up and drift it.
Yeah, it was really weird. I thought, like, because obviously on the grid we all have issues with wheel spin in the starts and these things, and the one time I want it to do that, it just wouldn't. It just bogs down. It was definitely a horrible moment, but yeah, I lucked out at the end with, I think it was Blake. He ran out of fuel by the looks of it, and then gained that an extra position. So P8 after being P17, I can be happy with that, I think.
Yeah, it's a strong result in the end, but still, I'm glad you're having fun with it, mate. It certainly makes you work for your results, that's for sure. But it's a lot of fun to watch. Spa-Francorchamps next time round, obviously a legendary circuit in its own right. How are you feeling about going there with less laps on offer as well?
Oh yeah, that is a big one. Well, the new X system is more forgiving around there, which is nice, especially in these understeery cars. We're allowed to use a bit more road, and it's very wide actually. So I would imagine we're going to see more battles.
Yeah,
and it's going to be very slipstream heavy. So people that tend to have the pace to run away. We've seen sort of Magic run away. If Ben comes back for the next round, he has normally pace to run away with it as well. Those types of people are probably going to struggle this time around to pull away just from anyone because of especially that Fluo Rouge. But it depends. I haven't driven it in this car yet, but it's definitely everyone knows it's one of those gem circuits that once you get it right, it's very very exciting, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, in the sprint race, we're only having 5 laps, and then in the feature race, there's only 10 laps. So there's going to be a lot of people pitting around the same sort of time as well. So I don't think the race is going to dissipate too much. It's going to be very interesting indeed. But thank you very much for joining us, Jack. Before I let you go, mate, do you want to give anybody a quick shout out?
Yourself, obviously, Chaz, for putting on the event. We always appreciate people sort of hosting leagues and stuff in the community. So shout out to yourself and any of the. Thank you to everyone that watched and felt my pain with me. I appreciate the support, and hopefully I can do better for them next time.
Cracking stuff. Great to speak to you, Jack. Very well done tonight, mate, and I'll see you again very, very soon, buddy.
Cheers, Chaz. See you later.
Cheers. Now, full disclosure here, everybody. I'm going to have to end the stream very, very quickly indeed. My partner is out for a drinky poo or two this evening. Nothing to do with the football, actually, but I need to give her a lift, and we've overshot a little bit in comparison to where I imagined we would be. So, unfortunately, that is all we have time for tonight. But thank you very, very much for watching again this evening. And again, thank you to everybody for sticking with me through the internet troubles. It really does mean a lot that you're all there to stick around. But thank you once again. I've been Chaz Draycott. This has been the European Touring Car Championship from Zolder. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Spa-Francorchamps. Have a great evening, everybody.